Do you want to build your marketing agency using virtual assistants? Well, in this video, I will share with you everything I learned about working with virtual assistants and how I was able to build my marketing agency to a six-figure business in the first year. Well, that was 10 years ago, and today I specialize in just working with virtual assistants and helping companies to hire VAs. So I have a lot of knowledge around virtual assistants, and in this video, I will share everything I know so that you could build a successful business without having full-time employees until you really need to. Hi guys, it's Lynn Padetti here. Now, for those who don't know me, I'll give you a little quick brief about how I started in my journey. So back 10 years ago, I started an e-commerce business with no idea at all. And that was when I learned about outsourcing and marketing because I needed to do things that I needed for my e-commerce business. And so when I was wondering what am I going to do next because I hated nail polish, I realized I gained a lot of skills in outsourcing and marketing that I was able to start a marketing agency. Now, what we were offering at the time was website development, graphic design, etc. And I started building it without having the knowledge myself. I wasn't a web developer, I wasn't a graphic designer, and I also didn't have money to start. So what I did was I was able to outsource all the skill sets that I need in order to deliver the services to clients. So in this video, I want to inspire you that you actually don't need to invest a lot of money into your business. You can actually leverage on the power of using virtual assistants to really grow your business very organically and slowly without taking a lot of risk. Now, let me share with you some of the roles that I started outsourcing with. So basically, the reason why I started my marketing agency was that I came across someone that needed a website. And at the time, he just said, look, I don't have time. Can you project manage it? Can you get it done? Even though I said, hey, you can get it done from overseas and hire people from Upwork or Odesk at the time, he said he didn't have time. So that was when I said, okay, I will do the work for you. So I just stumbled across the opportunity. So the first role that I did was a web developer who also had a graphic design skill. So he was able to give me a quote on a full project scope. So he did the design, the web development, and I was able to get a fixed price cost from him, and I added a margin on top, and I outsourced, and then I delivered it to my client. And so the beginning roles that I did with having a marketing team is hiring contractors or freelancers that are able to deliver key core products. So for example, whether it's web development or graphic design or SEO, etc. So whatever that I needed done to actually make money from that project, I outsourced that. And I outsourced that in a fixed price project because it allows me to keep the costs contained, right? At the beginning, without money, you don't have money to invest in having the full-time staff to just sit around and, hoping that you give them work, or, if you're not busy, you still need to find something for them to do. And also if they work overtime and if you're not familiar with the project that you're doing, it's better off to be doing fixed price projects first. So that's what I did, and I was able to start to grow organically. And as I started making some money in the project started to become recurring and clients were coming back, that was when I offered opportunities for the existing people to come on board as full-time. So at the time, the next person that became full-time for me was a graphic designer, because graphic was something that was being done all the time, and because I realized that not a lot of web developers can actually do design. I actually need a graphics person that can do web design and all the other graphics work that I have at the time, and also then I can find more web developers to do those projects. So the next step I did was basically offered a full-time role to a graphic freelancer. And so that's what I did for the next months and year, until as I scaled more, I turned his role as a graphic designer to also now add on as a project manager. Now, the reason why I do that is that you want to really grow organically and try to maximize all the time and skills from the one person, because if you had all the money in the world, you can just hire a person for this, hire a person for that. But I really wanted to try to keep this person employed and keeping him busy. I wanted to add in some more roles so that it frees me up from the things that I was doing. So prior to that, I was doing a lot of project management, liaising with the clients. But when I found that my graphic designer was, had more free time and has been working with me for a while, I trained him to be a project manager. Now, at first he was resistant and convinced me that he wasn't good at the role and he doesn't enjoy it. But I just said to him, hey, do you want to work with me? Do you enjoy working with me? Well, even I have to push myself outside of my comfort zone, and I would love for you to try it out too. And eventually he just did so well and he fell in love with doing that work. So he still did some graphics work, but then I really relied on him to be project manager because he's grown to know me so well and the business so well that he really knows how to handle the clients as well. So that next tip from me is really think about your current existing staff, virtual assistants that are working with you. How can you get them to take on some more things that are on your plate? Now, I should have explained earlier, virtual assistant for us at Outsourcing Angel, my company, is that as long as they are a virtual person, someone who's not next to you, and they can assist you in your business in marketing, we consider them as virtual assistants. So sometimes you misunderstand and think virtual assistants are only people that are doing admin work, etc. But virtual assistants can actually mean that they can still do web development, graphic design, etc. So I technically did build a business based on just virtual staff who I hire from overseas, and I started off with fixed price projects before I got them in-house into full-time or part-time role. Now, as things got more busy, I then hired a general assistant. So someone who can actually handle the admin back-end support for me. So things like invoicing, overseeing the team, and this is when I started to look into investing in my internal marketing and growth. So the general assistant was able to also help with a bit of my marketing work and email marketing, etc. So once you start to build out your team to deliver the core product and making money, that's when you can start to look at how you can invest resources into growing the business itself. So I didn't all of a sudden start hiring all these different people. As you can see, I prioritized on what was important, having those key people that I cannot do work without. So like, for example, I couldn't do web development, I couldn't do graphic design. So those are the things I have to outsource and have virtual assistants to do. And even though I was still doing all the project managing, invoicing, etc., I started to look at my to-do list and go, okay, I can't keep doing this. If I keep doing this, and I can't grow. That's when I invested in hiring general admin or social media marketing assistant to then help me so that I could actually grow the business. Now, one interesting you need to know is that for the first 8 years of my business, I never hired a local person at all. So the whole business was running based on VAs, virtual assistants from overseas. Although my agency, I was doing it for a few years, and then I pivoted and started Outsourcing Angel, which is a recruitment business. Staff that was come from the first business kind of transitioned to the new business, and we were still managing the agency as well as starting this recruitment agency. The whole team was really grown and promoted and trained as I grew, as I came up with new ideas into a new business, etc. And so they were just taking over the things that I was doing, and I trained them up. And so there's a myth that overseas people can't do certain things, but they can if you train them. So for example, I had my virtual assistants that were able to handle client calls, client questions, queries, project managing, doing invoicing, doing finance, doing everything. So it wasn't until 2018 when I had an opportunity to hire a friend that I was like, you know what, I actually think I want to kind of duplicate myself locally, and because a friend's needing a job, I'm just going to hire someone local. But my point here is that you can really build a team, build a successful marketing team or marketing agency without even using anyone local. But of course, as you have more local people, you have more brains, more strategists that can actually really grow your business exponentially. So I do see the value in having local people as well as overseas, but I think it really comes down to how much money you have, right? Because at the end of the day, local people are always going to they have more opportunities for education, and the way they're taught in Australia and America is a bit different. They're always thinking outside the box. They're very strategist thinking. More of them are strategist thinking. When you hire them, you want to make sure that they only do those roles, and anything within their role that is time consuming, repetitive, and an overseas person can do, then that is when you extract those tasks and have a VA team to do it. So I really see the power of having local and overseas. Just taught you my journey is that I didn't go straight away hiring local people because it would have eaten in too much of my resources. So it costs a lot for a local person compared to, one person would allow me to hire a few overseas staff, virtual assistants to be able to help me in the business. Well, that is all that I can share with you regarding my marketing agency experience and how I was able to build it with virtual assistants. If you have any questions for me at all, let me know. But I also have a course that I'm teaching you on how to hire marketing virtual assistants. Check in the links below. There is an outsourced course there, as well as I have a free training as well. So check it out if you're still curious to know any more trainings from me. But if you have any questions, love to hear from you. Leave in the comments below. But if you love videos like this, I make them all the time. So check it out here.